Hi everyone, my name is Miria Valentine. Some of you may know me as Talks with Me on Instagram, and today I'm here to share my testimony as to how God, Jesus Christ, saved me from suicide. Now, I'm used to shooting videos. I'm not used to shooting this type of content. I've been contemplating about doing this. I didn't want to do it, to be very honest with you, but the Holy Spirit is just pushing me to do it. I'm nervous. I I don't know. I'm afraid of what people may say, but you know what? It's not about me. It's about God. Now, this is going to be quite a long video simply because I have to start from the beginning. And I promise you, if you just bear with me, it will all make sense at the end. Initially, I was going to write down the timeline so I don't get confused, I don't make stuff up, or I don't leave out very important details. But God told me to trust him. So this is exactly what I'm going to do. So let's get right into it. When I was born, when I was around 3 months old, my mom said that I almost passed away. I almost died because I just stopped breathing out of nowhere while I was sleeping. And at that time, my mom was 19 years old, and she didn't know anyone in the area in which we lived in. So she ran to the neighbor, literally holding her newborn in her arms, knocking on her door, crying out loud, telling the neighbor that her daughter was dying. Now, this lady that lived next door, she was some type of spiritual healer, and she did something. I don't know what she did, but she actually revived me back to life. I'm not going to say that she saved my life because obviously God did, but he used her in some type of manner. Now, I don't believe that the lady was a Christian. She was a spiritual healer. I don't know what kind of thing she was doing, but yeah, I was saved and I started breathing again, and I think the lady said something about this is a special child or something like that to my mom. Anyways, I grew up in Germany. So when I was around 5 years old, I remember my mom was watching the Jesus movie on television, and I was watching it with her. I was around 4 or 5 years old. I was watching it with her, and when it came to the part of Jesus being crucified, I remember seeing him hanging on the cross, talking to the thief who said, Lord, I want to be with you in heaven and stuff like that. And then when he died, in the scene where he died, I watched that scene, I got up, I went to the bathroom. Mind you, I'm 4 or 5 years old, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. I got up, I went to the bathroom, I closed the bathroom door, and I started crying. I started crying because I hid in the bathroom because I didn't want anyone to see me. And I remember saying, why did they kill my friend? He didn't do anything. He was so nice to everyone. Why did they kill my friend? And I was just like, tears were just running down my face. And I just remember seeing this man in front of me in all white, looking at me, just smiling and saying, I'm not dead. Don't cry. It's okay. I'm not dead. They didn't hurt me. They tried to hurt me, but they didn't. They couldn't hurt me. And I remember saying, are you sure you're okay? And he said, I promise I'm okay. I'm 34 right now at this time, and I was 4 or 5. I will never forget. I don't know what it was about that scene. And you probably wondering, what do you mean he was your friend? I don't know why I said that. I just literally knew that he was my friend and they were hurting my friend. So I went to the bathroom and I just cried. And I was asking, why did they hurt my friend? He didn't do anything to nobody. So growing up, I used to walk to school. It was quite a long walk. And I would always talk to God. And I kid you not, I could feel his presence, and I would ask him all types of questions. You know how kids are. I would ask him all types of questions. So why are the leaves green? And why this? And why that? And he would just laugh and joke with me, and we would just walk every day. All right, so let me not get my timeline confused. Anyways, I grew up with just this feeling, this closeness to God. And I can't explain it. I always felt like we had this special relationship. But you know what? You know, you grow up, you have friends, then you want to experiment and you start going to parties and stuff like that. So I was kind of drifting away from my faith. I was drifting away from my faith. Now, fast forward to 2010. 2010? Yes, 2010. I moved to Canada, Toronto, Canada. And at that time, I'm living with my uncle. And I was doing a lot of partying because I met so many amazing friends, you know, was exploring the city and whatnot, you know, drinking. I wasn't really a smoker. I've never been a smoker, so I wasn't really into that. But I was partying, you know, in my eyes, I wasn't being sinful because I wasn't doing drugs and I wasn't robbing nobody, but I was not living the Christian lifestyle. So I remember going to sleep. Now, I don't know if it was a nap, but I think I took a nap. I took a nap because with me, typically when I have visions and dreams, vision specifically, it's while I'm napping. So I took a nap and I remember taking the elevator. Okay, let me just backtrack a bit so you guys understand. Where I grew up in Germany, I grew up in an apartment complex / condo, and we lived on the 9th floor. So we always took the elevator up and down, up and down. And we used to joke around saying that in the basement there was a homeless person living in the basement who would eat us if we end up in the basement, because sometimes what would happen is you would press you would press your floor, like the 9th floor, but the elevator would go down to the basement. And the basement was always scary because once the door opened, it was just dark and it was just eerie, right? So anyways, back to my dream. I dreamt that I was in the apartment complex that I grew up in. I got in the elevator. I pressed number 9 to go up, but the elevator went down. The elevator went down all the way to the basement, and then the doors opened. When the doors opened, there were 2 guards standing there looking at me. And I don't know why I voluntarily walked out, but I walked out and they were like walking beside me. And it wasn't a basement. It was almost like a dungeon. I was in a dungeon, and like literally I was walking through the hallway of this dungeon, and on both sides there were cells. There were cells, and people were screaming and eating themselves and just going crazy, and it smelled so bad. And I was walking, I was terrified because I'm like, what is this place? Like, I don't know how to explain it. So basically it was a dungeon, and in those dungeons they had individual cells on both sides, and I was walking through it, and I remember having those 2 guards on my side. And I was just thinking, what is this place? What is going on? Like, I was seeing there was this one man in a corner, in one cell. He was in the corner. He was just going crazy. He was just like doing this the whole time and just scratching himself. And this other dungeon, there was this lady that kept like just biting off her flesh. But every time she did it, it just kept growing back. And then as I was walking, people were trying to grab me, like almost like they wanted me to help them get out, like save them. And I don't know if I was sleeping for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but when I woke up, I was hot. I was so hot. So the first thing I did is I was hyperventilating. The first thing I did was I got up and I instantly ran into the shower. I took off everything and I took a cold shower. And I never do that because I was so hot internally. I was hot. I felt like I was burning. And I didn't understand what it was. So I was just like, in the shower, I was like, what was this? What was this place? What was this? This was terrible. And I promise you guys, I was only there for like maybe 2 minutes max. I don't know. It felt like I had no sense of time, but maybe a minute or 2. And I kept asking myself, what was this place? Oh my God, what was that? I was so traumatized. And then I just heard something in my heart saying, that was hell. And I was just like, what? Hell? I thought hell, I don't know. I assumed hell was just a place with a bunch of fire, you know? Like, I never really thought of hell and what hell would look like, but that felt too real. I'm like, if this is hell, I don't ever in life want to go back there, ever. So yeah, I had that dream, but I'm I was ignorant. I had that dream. I didn't even take it as a warning. I was just still living my best life, just being reckless, you know, just very selfish, just very conceited, just I was quite popular. So I was, you know, I was just feeling myself. I was prideful, but I always had that relationship with God. I always had that relationship with God. I always, in my heart, I always knew like Jesus is my friend. You know, that never left me. But I was exploring the world and kind of try to fit in somehow. But I always felt like I never really fit in. I always, and not to say that I stood out, but I was always different. I was always different, and people always called me more mature, like you're wise for your age, and I never understood why. I used to analyze a lot of things, and you know, just I'm a very, very critical thinker, always have been. Anyway, so that was in 2010. Now, fast forward to 2015. I had a vision of heaven in 2013, but I think I'm gonna do a different video for that because it doesn't necessarily relate to what I'm telling you guys now. But in 2015, I decided to go visit my family in Germany because I was living in Toronto. I decided to go visit my family, and my mom has a huge place, and I decided to always sleep in the living room because of my back. I have a really bad back, so I like to sleep on the floor sometimes. Anyways, that day I was actually sleeping on the couch. I was sleeping on the couch, and it was around like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I remember something was calling my name, Miria, Miria. And I woke up. I can't make this up, Lord, please. Just, you have to seek out your own salvation, and I want you to use your discernment and pray about it so you know that I'm not lying. None of this is a made up story. I can't make this up. I woke up and I just saw, do you guys know about Moses and the burning bush when he saw God like a burning bush? It was almost that, but it was like I was lying down and something was calling me. I opened my eyes. It was just like fire. But inside of that fire was a lion. And it was just looking at me and it kept calling me. And I even rubbed my eyes because I'm like, what is this? What's calling me, right? And I just saw like this burning bush fiery image with a lion inside of it calling me. And I was like, what is this? What is this? So I wasn't sure. I'm like, I didn't drink. I don't do drugs. Why am I seeing this? And then I fell back asleep. But I woke up and I'm like, last night was weird because I saw a fiery lion calling me, right? But I didn't pay it no attention. Again, it was God calling out to me, but I didn't pay it no mind. So I'm back in Toronto. That's still in 2015. And I'm doing music. I used to write a lot of songs and sing. I wanted to be this big music artist. So I connected with a producer in New York. He sent me a beat and he was like, I need you to write a song to this beat. So I ended up writing a song that was about a woman who couldn't seem to live without her man, so she wanted to put an end to her life. And basically, I'm not going to tell you guys what the lyrics are because I don't want them to be stuck in your head, but basically the hook or the chorus said, I'm bleeding all these love songs as a result of her taking her own life. She started bleeding love songs. So I wrote the song, went to New York, I recorded the song, went back to Toronto, You know, I was just working on the song and whatnot. And then one night I had a dream that, again, I was in the old apartment complex that I grew up in, and I was taking the elevator, this time with my older sister. And we went up, all the way up, not on the ninth floor, we went all the way up. We get out the elevator and we walking towards the balcony. We're walking towards the balcony, and my sister is saying, come, let's go, Mimi, come on, come on. And there's this man standing there. He turned around, he looks at me, and I'm like, no, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. So I run back to the elevator, get in, and press, I don't know, the ground floor, and I went down. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be there. So I dreamt that. I was like, this is so weird. Why did my sister want to chill with me on a balcony with a strange man? Like, this just doesn't make any sense, right? Okay, so I had a friend of mine that I reconnected with who moved to the States when we were like 12 years old. We grew up together and stuff like that, but then he ended up moving to the States when he was 12 or 13 because his mom got married. That was back in Germany. And he was my best friend growing up. He's the reason why I speak English the way I do. And I just decided to look for him because I just couldn't, I don't know, there was just something about him. I was like, I need to find my friend. So we reconnected, and I knew that he had a very rough life in the US and stuff like that I'm not going to get into. Anyways, he was in and out of jail as well. And I remember now when 2016, it's 2016, I'm still semi-working on my music stuff, but I'm in university full-time and I'm also working full-time. So I remember there was February of 2016. I had 3 dreams that kind of showed me that something was about to happen. But because I was so in the world, I didn't really pay it no mind. Instead of seeking God for clarity and guidance, I went to Google and tried to Google my answers. But that's a story in itself. So the first dream I had was I was at a party, and there were 2 brothers. And this one brother tried to talk to me. I think they were twins. One brother tried to talk to me, and I didn't want to talk to him. And the other brother seemed like he was a friend of mine or something. Anyways, we were talking, and I was trying to brush him off, telling him, hey, I'm not interested. And then I just heard people screaming. And then we went to the rooftop, and this girl was like, he jumped, right? And it was a twin brother. And I was like, what happened? And the twin brother literally jumped off the building and committed suicide. Now, let me just backtrack again. This is why I kind of felt like I should have written down the timeline. But in the apartment complex that I grew up in Germany, people used to commit suicide a lot. They used to jump off the building. Not all the time, but every 3-4 years, there was somebody jumping. So that was weird to me. I woke up sweating. I was just drenched in sweat. I didn't understand. It was so bizarre and so dark. Like, why did I dream about somebody jumping off the building? The crazy thing is, while I was at the party trying to tell the brother that I'm not interested, I could see how the guy was jumping off the building. I could see it even though I wasn't there. So I knew exactly what happened. I woke up and I'm like, this is the weirdest thing ever. You know, just a bizarre dream. Left it at that. And then maybe a week later, I dreamt that I was in a dirty bathroom. And I had a blade in my hand. And my mom and my sister, they were outside of the bathroom, and my mom was like, she's about to hurt herself. And she was knocking on the door of the door of the toilet in which I was in, right? And I just remember I went ahead and I just did it. And my hair at that time was red, and everything was just red. I don't remember passing out or anything, but I remember waking up again in sweat thinking, what is going on? Why did I dream that? So I used to work at a call center from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. I was working full time and I was also going to school full time. And I remember waking up around like 6:15. That day I was late for work, by the way. But I remember waking up at 6:15, getting ready for work. I'm on the bus, and now I'm Googling what does it mean when you dream about suicide, right? Now Google is telling me, hey, it means that you're killing your old self and a new self is about to emerge. It means new beginnings and whatnot. So in my head, I'm like, wow, this is quite positive. This is quite positive. You know what? I wanna practice the law of attraction. I wanna practice thinking positively and also attracting what I deserve. So I went ahead and I bought the book, The Law of Attraction. Now, if you don't know what the cover of the book looks like, I suggest you Google it. There's a huge tree, and it says the lessons of Abraham, or something like that. Abraham, okay, something like that. So I decided to buy that book, and I started reading the book, and that book is creepy. I do not recommend anyone to read The Law of Attraction because it's demonic. There, I said it. I bought the book, The Law of Attraction, and then one day, I think maybe 2 weeks later, all this happened during February, March. Now we're slowly going into April, okay? I have a dream, and, okay, let me just try to explain it to the best of my abilities. I'm basically dreaming that I am walking towards a playground in my old elementary school. And I'm walking towards the playground, and I see myself with my friends, including the friend that I just told you guys that I reconnected with. We're all playing, and I'm about maybe 11 years old or something like that. And we're playing, running around. Now, I see myself, I'm walking towards myself, my 11-year-old self. I bend over and I say, hey, come here. Now I see my 11, maybe 10-year-old self. I was shy. I went towards myself and I caressed my face, the face of the younger self of myself. That sounds so weird. And then I embraced her. But I knew that it wasn't me who was looking at myself. It was almost like it was God walking towards me, and he allowed me to see myself through his lens, if that makes sense. So I was literally, God shared his eyes with me. Jesus shared his eyes with me and showed me how he sees me. And it was it felt so real. It just felt so real. When he hugged me, it was almost like, I've missed you so much, that I love you so much, hug. And I felt that. I felt the love. I felt the warmth. I just felt that compassion, the grace, the mercy. I just felt all of it. But I knew that I wasn't embracing myself. It was God embracing me, but allowing me to see myself through his eyes, because he sees me as this precious young child. So I wake up and now I'm just confused. I'm like, okay, I'm having way too many weird dreams. This is not making any sense. I'm confused. What does that mean? Instead of praying, I go to Google again. What does it mean when you see your younger self? Whatever. I don't even remember what Google told me. But the one thing I remembered is I was sleeping with the book Law of Attraction beside me on my nightstand, and it just didn't feel right. I'm like, something about this book just didn't feel right. Now, the next day I went to work, and my friend popped in my head. I'm like, I need to reach out to him. I haven't seen him, spoken to him in a minute. I need to reach out to him. But I just, it was just a thought, and I just left it at that. Now, fast forward a week later, one of my best friends from Germany reaches out to me. I wake up because there's a 6-hour time difference. So I guess she reached out to me while it was nighttime over there. So I didn't see the message till I woke up. I wake up around like 5:45 to get ready for work, and I see a WhatsApp message, and she says, "How did such and such pass away?" And I reply, "What are you talking about?" And she goes, how did he pass away? What happened?" And now I'm just numb. I'm like, what do you mean he passed away? So I go on Facebook, and I see the little post that he posted about, like, goodbye and stuff like that. And now I'm just crying. I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm going to work. I'm an emotional wreck. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I didn't know what happened. I'm trying to find answers. I reach out to the family, reach out to the spouse, and I get all of the information. My friend committed suicide. Now, I'm just a mess. I'm just distraught. I'm just a mess. I'm like, and I don't know, it hit me so hard. I never lost a friend before. This was the first time. So that hit me so hard, and I didn't know how to cope with it. So I went to the LCBO, which is a liquor store, and I bought like 2 bottles of wine. I was like, I need to go home and just drink. I need a drink. I used to drink a lot of wine back then. So I was like, I just need a drink. And I remember while I was walking, I felt this presence, this like dark presence just on me. Just, it's almost like, when you're walking, you feel like there's a shadow, there's something following you. That's what I felt like. I'm like, this is eerie. Something is not right. I get home, and I'm like, I can't shake off the thought. Like, I just can't shake off the thought of life sucks. What's the meaning of life? Why am I here? I might as well just end it all. Nobody loves me anyways. I have nothing to show for. What's a purpose? Like, honestly, like, when you die, you just die, and that's it. You might as well just put an end to it. I never used to have these thoughts before, but all of a sudden, that's all I was thinking about. Just do it. Just do it. Just go ahead and do it. And these thoughts became so loud. Like, it was like a voice that was talking to me. And the crazy thing is, everything that I saw outside and in my house became a weapon. It was so sick, because I would see a tree, and I'm like, maybe I could go out this way. And I would see a knife, and I'm like, maybe I could go out this way. Like, everything became a tool to end my life. This is really dark. I know this is really, really dark, but this is literally what happened. And I'm not making any of this up. Everything became a tool. I became paranoid because I was just so scared. So I'm like, no, I don't know why these thoughts are constantly in my head. I don't know. I never thought about this, but the last name of my friend that passed away was Abrams. And I bought The Law of Attraction, and the book says The Lessons of Abrams. So that freaked me out completely. I took the book, I threw it out. I'm like, I can't. Especially because there was a tree on that book. The cover was a tree. And the way my friend passed away was by hanging himself on a tree. So that in itself, I was just like, this is too much. I can't do it. So the next day I'm at work. So basically what is happening now is I'm so terrified to go to sleep. I feel like I'm going to have these weird dreams and stuff like that. The next day I go to work. I use the bathroom not work, sorry. I go to school. I use the bathroom at school, and there's this poster saying, thinking of suicide. If you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, it's still not too late. Call this number. And there's this tree on the poster. And I'm just like going insane, thinking, what is going on? Why am I seeing this? Am I going crazy? Am I hallucinating? What's going on? So I'm like, I can't do this anymore. There was a party, I think an all-white party or something that was coming up, and my friends decided to invite me, and we all went. I tried to like drink the pain away, just forget about it all. That was on a Saturday. But when I was on my way home, I was intoxicated. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to church tomorrow. I'm going to go to church. I haven't been to church in God knows how long I'm going to go to church. So I texted my friend, intoxicated. I was like, hey girl, I know that you always go to church on Sundays. Can you please take me with you? My girl texted me back, hey, no problem. I'm going to pick you up at 11:30. I get up. I don't know where I found the strength. I get up, I get ready, and I'm still feeling eerie. I'm still having these suicidal thoughts that's literally saying to me, just do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. End it all. Nobody loves you. This, that, right? Just in my head going crazy. I'm like, I need to go to church. So I reached out to my friend because she was running late. I was like, please, if you're not going, just give me your address. I'm going to take an Uber because I didn't own a vehicle. I'm like, I just need to go to church. Now, she picks me up. We go to church and we walk in and they're worshiping. And the song that they were singing was, I will no longer be a slave to fear. And I'm like, God, you're talking to me. This is for me. I don't want to be a slave to fear. I don't want to be a slave to sin. I don't know what's going on, but I need you right now. I need you because I feel like my time here is up. My time is done. If you don't save me, I'm literally going to off myself. That's what I was thinking. So I was at church just praying, trying, still intoxicated, like, hungover, but trying my best to just plead with God. That was May 1st. Okay, May 1st. I think it was it was a Sunday, May 1st. Now that day, in the evening, I decided to go to sleep. I lay down. I kid you not, guys. I lay down. And all I hear is, yes! Like a big, loud, yes! Like I can't even explain how loud that yes was. It was just, yes! Like, and I woke up, I was like, what was that? Like, what was that? Yes, what? And then the atmosphere in my room just changed. I'm getting chills. The atmosphere in my room just changed, and all I heard was, you're dying tonight. And I'm like, what? And as I got up and I looked on the floor and on my wall, like on the ground, like on my wall, there was like a little hole. And out of that little hole came a centipede. It was like almost this big. It crawled out like a huge centipede, just came out of nowhere. That was around midnight. And as the centipede crawled out, it wasn't a snake, it was a centipede, but it was like a big one. I used to see them all the time, never thought anything of it. I just used to kill them. But this one was huge. And it was almost like a snake. It came, and as fast as it came out, it went back into that hole and disappeared. But when it disappeared, it was almost like it left a dark, dark presence in my room. And I just felt the darkness. The only way to explain it is hell on earth. You guys think that earth is hell now? The presence of God was absent. And they say that the Bible says that hell is the absence of God because there's no light. There's nothing. Even if you live or walk in darkness right now, there's still God. There's light. There's life. So as long as you're alive, you still have a chance. But it was almost like God removed his presence entirely from my house, from my heart, from everything. My entire apartment became black. It became black. It was dark. And I just heard, you're dying tonight. So I was freaking out. I tried to text my friend, and all of the texts, like I was trying to text my friend, but the letters were just mishmash. I couldn't text, and I was calling her. I was like, you need to pick me up. You need to pick me up. She was saying, hey, what's going on? I was like, you need to pick me up because if I stay here, I don't know what's going to happen, but I need to backtrack. Because after that centipede came out, it was around midnight. What I did is, like, I heard something in me tell me, take that knife and throw it out. I have like this nice set of knives, right? Like these chef knives, like kitchen decor. And the biggest one kept popping in my head. And something told me, throw it out. Now I'm putting this knife in a bag, and the voice is telling me, you might as well use it. It's over anyways. You might as well use it. And I'm like fighting against it because I was so tempted to just use it. I was so tempted to use it. That voice was so strong. Like, life sucks. You just do it. Just do it. And I took that knife, I put it in a bag, I double bagged it, I put a knot in it, and I walked towards the bus stop. I walked towards the bus stop, like a good 8-minute walk. It's dark, I see trees everywhere. Now I'm terrified of trees. I can't see trees anymore because I'm so traumatized about what happened with my friend, and just the book, the law of attraction, the book, and everything was just creepy to me. I'm walking towards the bus stop, and I just hear a voice saying, throw it in the garbage bin. So I threw the knife in the garbage bin, and I'm running home. I'm so scared. I'm running home, and I'm closing the door, and I just feel like there's a presence in my home. I don't want to be in my home because I'm so terrified. So I tried to text my friend, and while I'm texting her, the letters, like I'm typing, but it doesn't make sense. I'm like, what's going on? Why is my phone not texting? It's freezing, right? It's freezing. And all I hear is, you're gonna die tonight. You're gonna die tonight. I'm like, Lord Jesus Christ, please, no. So I call her, and I'm like, you need to come pick me up. You need to come pick me up. And she goes, what's going on? I'm like, I can't explain, but you need to come pick me up, because I thought, if this girl doesn't pick me up today or tonight, it's over. She dropped everything and picked me up. I got in her car. I was shaking. I was terrified. I was so scared. And she was like, what's going on? I couldn't explain it to her because I'm like, at that time she wasn't saved. So I didn't want to seem crazy. So I was just like, I can't explain. Anyways, I'm sleeping at her house. And while I'm laying in her bed, I'm hearing the voice say, she has knives too. You might as well just use hers. Because she was the one who bought me the knife set. So we had the same set. She got it from me on Christmas. So the voice was telling me, she has it too, so you might as well just use hers. And I'm just like, Jesus, please, Jesus, please, Jesus, please. I'm literally lying down. She's lying beside me. She's already sleeping, and I'm just like fighting it, just trying to pray through the fear. I wake up the next day. I text my friend that took me to church. I was like, you need to get me in contact with the pastor. I need to speak to the pastor because I feel like I'm losing my mind. And if I don't get prayer or deliverance, something bad is going to happen. She gets me in contact with the pastor. I call the pastor while I'm at work, and I'm explaining to the pastor, like, this is going on. I'm afraid. I don't know what's going on. I'm having suicidal thoughts. I just want to off myself. And he's like, the spirit of suicide is trying to get you. The spirit of suicide is trying to get you. Did someone recently in your life pass away? And I said, yeah, one of my best friends, my childhood friends, just, committed suicide. And he was like, that's the spirit of suicide is trying to get you. You need to pray. You need to fast. I'm like, Pastor, can you please just come to my house and do something? Just get rid of these demons or something. He was like, I'm going to pray for you. But that wasn't enough. So I was telling my mom what was going on. And my mother, she lives in Germany. She was like, I'm going to get on the next flight and come to you. And that's when I felt like, I was like, you know what? No, do not come. This is my battle. You're going to come and you will try to protect me while you're here. But what if you leave? I will still have to deal with these thoughts. I will still have to deal with these demons in my house, because what was happening is, it was like my third eye, or my God removed the curtains from my eyes, and I could see into the spiritual realm. And in my living room, in the corner of my living room, there was this entity, which was the devil. I know it was the devil himself. He was standing there every day, every night. He was standing there. He was wearing all black with a hoodie, and he had a rosary, those that they use in the Catholic Church. He had a rosary in his hands, and he was looking at me. Every time he looked at me, he used a rosary and was doing a prayer. And then he took another pearl, did a prayer, and looked at me. And I could see him. I was seeing him. He looked at me. He had the hoodie on, and he was just doing with the rosary. And I'm like, the devil is preying on me. He wants to kill me. So I was so terrified of being home that every day I had somebody else sleeping in my house with me. I used to call my friends like, hey, do you want to come over? Obviously, I don't want to tell them that I'm being paranoid and I'm scared that I'm being literally tormented by these demons, right? So I'm just making up stuff. Let's just chill, just come over, you know, have every day somebody over just to sleep with me, because sleep at my house, not sleep with me, but because I was scared. I was terrified. One of my friends, I actually told her what was going on. I was like, I need you to sleep here because I'm scared. I feel like something bad is going to happen if I don't have anyone sleeping here. Now, I started praying. And I was so afraid to be up past midnight. So what I did was, at 8 o'clock, I used to go to sleep around 8 p.m. And I'm like, okay, if I sleep now, hopefully I'm going to sleep till like 5 in the morning when it's bright. I kid you not. I'm not making this up. I used to go to sleep at 8 p.m. Exactly at midnight, on the dot, the devil would wake me up. It's time to wake up. I would look at the time and it's exactly midnight. Every night at midnight, he would wake me up and I would be just tormented with thoughts. And I wouldn't go to sleep till it was like 6, 7 in the morning, till it was bright out, because I was so terrified. And this was going on for a good like 2 months or so. I kid you guys not. So I was praying, I was fasting. I was like, I refuse. I do not know. I do not know if God is going to hear me, but I refuse to give in. I haven't been the best daughter. I haven't been the best Christian. I'm not walking according to the laws of God. I'm not reading the Bible. I'm not fasting. I'm not praying. I'm not worshiping. I'm not doing any of that. But I am nothing without you. And if you do not save me, it is done. My life is done. So I was pleading with God every day. And I couldn't pray with my eyes closed, because every time I closed my eyes, I felt this presence, this dark presence. And I was scared. I was so scared. So one night, oh my God, I told myself that I will never ever cry on camera. And now look at me. So one night, Jesus actually showed me a vision as to what was going on in the spiritual realm. Because the earth that we live in, it's a parallel of the spiritual realm. So before it happens on earth, it manifests itself in the spiritual realm. So basically what was happening is Jesus showed me how there were 3 or 4 demons. They were excited. They were digging a grave. And while they were digging a grave, they were singing, just sick entities. They were digging a grave, and they were digging a grave for me. And Jesus saw that. And I saw Jesus in the throne room. Okay, God knows I'm not making this up. I saw Jesus in the throne room, going to God and pleading with God, saying, they are about to kill my friend. I'm sorry. He said, they're about to kill my friend. Don't let them take my friend. And you know what? God was so fed up with the lifestyle that I was living. He was so fed up with the sins that I was committing. He was just so fed up with me. My sin, my lifestyle, the way I was living, it just aggravated and got him so upset. He was so embarrassed. He was so disappointed. He was mad. He was mad, and he was ready to let them take me out. But I saw Jesus in the throne room pleading with him, saying, don't let him, give her one more chance. Don't let them take my friend. They're about to kill my friend. And I literally saw the demons excited, just like, digging this grave. And Jesus was pleading with God, until God was like, you know what? Yes. Okay. Save her. That's what God said. That's why that night When I was sleeping, I heard that yes. I heard it. I heard that yes, because Jesus was pleading with him. And then he was like, yes, but she needs to go through this to learn. And that's why I felt, after I heard that yes, the atmosphere in the room changed, because he removed himself, but not completely, for me to feel the torment that I would have experienced if I would have gone to hell. So if it wasn't for Jesus pleading and saying, don't let them take my friend. Why are you allowing them to kill my friend? Just the same way I was crying when I was 5 years old. And I said, why did they kill my friend? That's the same way he was crying for me. I'm sorry. Whew. I said I would never cry on camera, and now here I am, bawling my eyes out. So he showed me that. And he showed me, when I had that vision of him embracing me, he was like, I've always been there with you. This is how I see you. You are my precious jewel, and I will never leave you. That's why when he embraced me, he was giving me a welcome back hug in the vision that I had. But I didn't understand that at that time. So when I heard that, yes, it was God saying, enough, okay, I heard you. Just go ahead and save your friend. I get it, you know? Because, guys, God, when he's mad, okay? When he's mad, he's mad. And I if it wasn't for Jesus pleading and begging the way he begged, I would not be here to tell you this testimony right now. I would have been long gone. So he gave me another vision. And in that vision, I was malnourished. I was very skinny. I had no hair. I looked like I was beaten. I was in a dungeon. I was in a prison, in a dungeon, in a corner like this, just shaking. And he came and took me out of there. So what I'm thinking is, when I had that vision of that prison dungeon in 2010 at my uncle's house, I was actually being taken there. So my spirit was already in hell the whole time. Even though I was still living my best life here on earth, I was already condemned until he asked to set me free. So basically, they just wanted to just put the last nail in the coffin. Like, you know what, we already have her. She's already a prisoner, but let's just solidify it, just end it all by killing her in the physical realm as well. It would have been done, because I saw myself in that dungeon, just in the corner, like malnourished, skinny, just shaking. And he came, took me out, and he was walking with me in the throne room. And then he just put a robe on me, and he said, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. Yeah, that was, so the thoughts slowly but surely started subsiding and going away. God showed me so many things. Like, he revealed so much to me. I've always been the type to have visions and dreams, and I have the gift of prophecy. When God speaks to me about somebody, what's going to happen in somebody's life, it's always accurate. I don't just talk to talk. I only talk when I'm led. And I know that there's something in me that the enemy knew, like, if we keep her alive, it's a wrap. I lost my train of thought. But basically, that's what I was going to say. I have seen demons, a lot of them. I've seen the spirit of fear. You know, when you're fearful and you're anxious and you're shaking, I've seen the spirit of fear. It is very small. It's like 4'11" or something. It's so little and so short. Almost looks like an oversized chihuahua with very short fur, brown. And all it does is shake. It just shakes. It's scared. And once that enters you, it's a wrap. It takes over you. I've seen the spirit of fear. I've seen it. I've seen hell. I've seen heaven. I got invited to a party in heaven. And I will tell you guys about that in the next video, God willing. I've seen it. I've literally been in the throne room. And God just looked at me, and I was ashamed. I couldn't look at him, but I knew that he was looking at me. And I had no hair. I had no hair. I was completely bald, and I was so malnourished. You could see my bones. I was dead. I was dead. I was dead. So I started praying. I started going to church. I started going to Bible study. It didn't matter the weather. I was always in the Word, always in the Word. And that's when I started seeing things. That's when I started hearing things. That's when God started revealing a lot of what has transpired in my life to me. That's when he started showing me the true colors of some people. I've seen a lot. I've heard a lot. And this happened in 2016, 6 years ago. And I'm only sharing this now because he told me that I should share it now. So I don't know who this message is going to help, who it is going to touch, but I hope it touches somebody. And before I am completely done, one more thing. Although I was believing and praying, I still had this doubt, this little bit of doubt in my heart. And I kept asking God, please, I believe in you. I need you to remove this heart of stone and give me a heart of flesh. I don't want to doubt you. I don't want to have this doubt in my heart. Please, please, please. I was begging. I remember going to sleep. The next day I wake up, I go to my kitchen, and there is this big like this, like this, black fly on the ground, dead. Huge black. And I'm like, that was around November. And I'm like, where did this fly come from? What is this? Why is it so big? Why is it? And all I heard in my heart was, that was your doubt. What? In the form of a fly? I know, sounds crazy, right? But it was huge and black and dead. And I was just like, what the hell? So I remember worshiping in my living room / kitchen, because I have an open concept. That was a different apartment at that time, open concept place. And I was worshiping. I turned around. I don't know what made me look towards the sink, but all I saw was a huge centipede crawling out of the sink, okay? Out of the sink. And no, I'm not a not neat person or anything. I'm not, I don't know how this happened. The centipede, literally, it was the same centipede that I saw that night, came crawling out of the sink while I was worshiping and praising and praying. This time, I grabbed it, obviously with a paper towel. I grabbed it, and I flushed it down the toilet. And I was praying and rebuking. And after I did that, it was almost like my entire place, the atmosphere and everything changed. Everything changed, because this happened in May and it went on all the way to November, December. So while I was praying, fasting, I was still being tormented. Every day I was still seeing that the devil in the corner of my living room with the rosary still praying on me. But I was just praying through the fear. I was praying through the torment. I was praying through the doubt. I was praying through the depression, the anxiety, the sadness, everything. I was praying. I didn't care. I was like, you know what? If I'm still here, it's for a reason. And I remember my friend, he promised me that he will never leave me. He promised me that he will never let me go. So I'm just going to hold on to this promise, even if I don't have anything. I'm going to hold on to this promise and just worship and pray and fast and fast and fast until something breaks. And that's exactly what I did. I did that. And the spirit of suicide, these suicidal thoughts, went away. And when I think about it, the song that I wrote a year prior about bleeding love songs and choosing a weapon to end it all manifested itself. This is why music is so powerful. We really have to be careful what we listen to, what we watch, what we say. There's power in all of that. There's power in the tongue. There's power in encoding and decoding messages. There's power. So I wrote my own demise in a way, but God, 6 years, this was 6 years ago. And I am now finally ready. Oh, God is ready for me to go ahead and share it. I don't know why only now, but I'm not going to question God. I'm not going to question his timing. I just hope that this message helps someone. I hope that this message blesses someone. I hope that this message encourages you to seek God wholeheartedly, to start a relationship with him. Jesus is on your side. He's in your corner. And these thoughts that you're having about life sucks, I might as well end it all, nobody loves me, I amount to nothing, it's all a lie. It's all a lie. The devil hates you because he sees God in you. And he does not want God to fulfill his purpose in your life. It's all a lie. Please listen to me. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. So I hope that after you hear this, and I hope you stayed around for the entirety of this message, you go and ask for forgiveness for your sins. You ask God to guide you. You ask him to heal you, to give you the wisdom that he has given to Solomon, the strength that he has given to David, the faith that he has given to Abraham, the patience and the love that he has given to his son, Jesus Christ. There's so much that I need to share with you guys. So this is my first video. I'm not doing it for likes. I'm not doing it for clicks. I'm not doing it for any of that. Some of you guys know that I've been on Instagram for a long time, and this was never the reason or the purpose. So I just pray and hope that this touches the person that it's supposed to touch. And I will be sharing my testimony or my vision of heaven with you guys. I will be sharing so many dreams that I had, so much. I will be sharing all of it with you because now is the time. There's a great revival coming, and God is collecting his. And if I can be a part of this and help him do that and expand the kingdom, then so be it. It's not about wealth. It's not about popularity. It's not about fame. It's not about clout. It's about kingdom. It's about making it to the kingdom. So I hope this message has blessed you. And I pray that God protects you, that he guides you, provides you with the wisdom that you need. And God willing, I will upload another video soon.